Hey everyone, it's Greg with Evangeline Brokers, and today I have a very special segment that we haven't done in a while, bro. It's been a hot friggin' minute.
You've been busy, bro.
Yeah, man. So we're back. We're back, baby. We're doing the leadership huddle. Okay. I got Mr. Tyler Mitchell from Fifth Dimension Potential. For those of you who've never seen this, because we're doing it under a new moniker, then basically Tyler Mitchell is the owner and operator of Fifth Dimension Potential, and is a very dear friend of mine. And so we like to sit down and have discussions about leadership and what it means to us and things that we've learned, experiences we've had, and hopefully help you, the viewer, to be better leaders in business and life and in your family, and just make you a more well-rounded person. So without further ado, Mitch, how you doing, brother?
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream.
It's
been a hot minute since we've done this.
It's been too long.
This is probably going to be a lot. Just so you viewers know, this is going to be a lot of like him and I bullshitting around for about 10 minutes.
We ramble.
We're gonna ramble around. We're gonna talk, but we're gonna get to the point. I promise. Eventually, we're gonna go full circle. We're gonna bring it back around. We're gonna get to the one we want to talk about. And there'll be some impact.
We definitely walk around the block to get down the street. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely. So, what you been up to?
Well, I mean, this is not affiliated with the military in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I do work for NATO, and Afghanistan's not looking too hot at the moment. So I've been consumed with that, which is nice. But yeah. Naples, Italy, doing my thing. So yeah, this is actually a nice break from all of that, to be all altruistic and such, and motivational, inspirational, and have to deal with the ills of the world, you know?
Oh,
but, yeah.
I know. Oh, I know. Have you have you seen that meme? Someone sent me a meme the other day. Not to make this political, but
no, because we don't do that.
No. But
that's not our thing.
It was about the voters. It was all the voters. It was like, we fucked up. It was Bradley Cooper. It was from Hangover. It's pretty funny.
Memes are pretty powerful weapons. But yeah, especially for the ill-informed.
Yeah, definitely.
But speaking of ill-informed, right?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about today? You know,
we always like decide last minute right before we start recording. Like, what do you want to talk about? I don't know. We're talking about this. So, based on everything that's going on and the massive amount of change and the reason behind the change, I think it was the biggest discussion topic that we were talking about, which was types of leadership.
Yeah.
Breaking down the different types of leadership and what the effects that it can have in an organization.
Oh yeah,
and on the
influence, if you will.
Yeah, and the people within the organization.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like that topic. That's a good topic.
It is a good topic.
Yeah. There's a lot of places you can go with that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places you can go with that, because leadership is in everything, or should be anyway. Yeah. I mean, I've been looking at a bunch of stuff lately on this, just for my own being a steward of the profession, if you will, of leadership. And it's all about, basically, it boils down to like where people get their power base from. You know what I mean? Mm. Like, where do they derive their power from? Do they derive it from the people that they lead, or do they derive it from some label or title that's on their door? You know what I mean?
The personal versus positional power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'm just like, I see it all the time. And like, the more I read and study about this stuff, the more and more I'm able to more quickly identify like the way that people are coming at me, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
come at me, bro. I actually got a headband. It's like, come at me.
I don't remember what that's. Here we go. Here's rambling. What's that from again?
Huh?
Are we gonna get sued for that? What's that from?
The come at me?
Yeah.
No, man.
Come at me, bro.
Bro Science.
Is that Bro Science?
I got it from Bro Science.
Oh, okay.
Do you
even lift?
Yeah, Dom Mazzetti.
Yeah. Anyway,
he's got some good merch, bro. Just saying, it's got some good merch. I don't sponsor him in any way, but if you like
you
funny
are
merch,
making this is free advertising.
Free advertising. Just go check out his merch. Go.
Yeah, I haven't seen a bro science video in quite some time. I don't even know if he still does it.
He does.
Does he?
And they're still funny. They're still fantastic.
Yeah. What were we just talking about before you started rambling?
Personal positional power. The rambles have begun.
No, but it's like I'm able to notice it a lot easier, and kind of like triage how I'm going to react to it. You know what I mean? It's like, so like before I said, you know what I mean, like 4 times now, but like when you're able to identify it, and you're more like, you're not so reactive in your responses, when someone's coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
Say they're being a crappy leader and they're coming at you with like coerciveness or like quid pro quo, or they're just being super direct without explaining any why or purpose or any kind of, they're not packaging it in an inspiration ball of love. You know what I mean? They're just throwing it at you. I don't know. It just helps me just kind of almost sit back. And when I was younger, I would probably like met their level of stupid, and just responded in that way. But I think studying about the stuff, it increases your emotional intelligence too. And then you're able to kind of
your awareness.
You're in your social awareness and your self-management. Probably for me, it helped with my self-management, like not to explode or overreact or just react in a way. So it's almost like every time they would, use coerciveness or just like, do it this way because I said so. Like, this is the party line, walk the party line. I would be like, I think just laugh.
I think you have a slide. We have a slide that we had developed, and we talked about this within our group a while ago. Remember that? That has all the different types and the different types of leadership and the coarseness and the quid pro quo and all that.
Absolutely.
Can you, while I'm talking, can you pull that up and then share screen? And then we can kind of talk through these. I think that would be beneficial for people to see.
Dude, I'm on like a screen.
Are you on your gangster laptop? Your gangster MacBook?
I can talk through it without having to show it.
Maybe I can. I'm sure I can. Is it still in share? Is it still in the share drive?
No way you're gonna be able to find that.
Oh, I'm finding it. Is it still in the share drive between you and
I? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not gonna find it. Didn't you email it to me at one point?
It's not on the share drive. It was a link. I removed those off the share drive.
Man, you're a straight piece of shit.
I'm just a piece of garbage. Quite frankly. No, but I mean,
pogue, if you will.
We can talk it. We know it well enough.
I think it's just good for the people to see the different types. And then we talk through. And here's the thing: is that at any given time, you'll probably use some of these, even a little bit, and it's sometimes it can do the job. It's when people rely on basic forms of leadership to always get their way, is when it breaks down.
I think what it goes to, so the reference, so if folks want to read a book or an author who's like the godfather of this stuff, in my mind, in my opinion, it's Daniel Goleman. He's a Harvard business guru, Daniel Goleman, and he's written a bunch of books on this stuff. He's like the organizational management and leadership guy that developed a bunch of these leadership styles, influencing tactics and techniques.
Yeah.
His book, what was his book's name?
A lot of military leadership courses are centered around this structure that Harvard's developed.
Leadership That Gets Results by Daniel Goleman. I think it's a good article that talks about in Harvard Business Review, that talks about the different influence techniques. But yeah, so like I said, positional versus personal power, I think it's huge. So people use their positional power, like, hey, I'm the boss or I'm the manager. I was appointed in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they don't use any influence techniques that inspire commitment to like the vision or the cause or the organization. Why. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The purpose of the organization. They just want people to get in line.
Yeah.
Get in line, follow the rules, do what I say, because I told you so, because this is and so, I mean, that just has such a huge negative effect on an organization. right? There is a time when you do need that, though. I'm not gonna lie. You do need that. And when you're trying to discipline folks, or you're just like, hey, we don't have time is of the essence. So when speed, when things are intense and you don't have time to sit there and explain the why, you just need to be like, go now, right?
But typically with a really good leader, what's going to happen is that when they do that, it's far and few between.
Yeah.
And people know the like shit's hit the fan. We're going to do what's being said, because that relationship's been developed through personal power, and they've influenced the people around them in such a way with their leadership traits and tactics and their influence, that they trust. There's a mutual trust that is between the leader and the people that they're leading. And so, and it has nothing to do, it also has nothing to do by position. Also, anyone can be a leader at any level.
100%.
Okay. At any level, you can be a leader just by doing the right thing and leading by example and helping others to succeed. And when people start to look at you because you are helping others, because you're doing really well and you want to serve other people, when people start looking at you for help, you're now a leader.
Yeah.
You're being looked to.
If you become an expert in your craft, right? If you become an expert in your craft, whatever your craft is, you have an opportunity to develop personal power, because people will then defer to you.
Exactly.
And they will give up their power to you because they're like, hey, you're the expert in this, help me, right?
Yep.
And then if you reach out to people, and instead of thinking you're a know-it-all, even though you are the expert, you reach out to people and say, hey, I don't know everything, I need some help. We need to collaborate on this project. We need to be, or you coach people, you mentor people, right? You take them under your wing, even though no one's paying you to do it. You just do it, right? And that doesn't require I'm a president of the company, I'm a vice president, I'm a this. No title necessary to be a leader, right? A leader is a titleless thing. The title is leader. You either are or you're not. And people give that to you, that personal power. What do I say? Appointed, you're appointed with positional power, but you're anointed by those you lead with personal power. So it's appointed versus anointed, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. And what personal power does is it builds, I think what Daniel Goleman says is it builds commitment, right? So positional power does compliance. Personal power builds commitment with an organization. So the good leaders are able to weave in and out of those things seamlessly. Like even in like one conversation, you could just weave in and out of all these influencing techniques kind of, effortlessly, where all those tools are at your disposal, but it takes a lifetime. In my opinion, it takes a lifetime to develop all of those, so that you're able to do that, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So let's go over some of the different leadership like tactics, the styles. Break them down.
Should we start from the bottom?
Yeah, start from the bottom up, and we'll give examples and talk about, and also let's talk about what this does to over time, what this does to an organization.
Do you want to just use Daniel Goleman's? Because there's a ton. I mean, there's some people have like 30, or you're like, you're the coach, you're the playmaker, you're the pace setter, you're the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because he only has like 6, I think. Can I pull it? Hold on, I'm Googling it right now. See, like if we were like Joe Rogan, he has a guy in a booth that like pulls it up for him and like all this tech equipment. That's pretty. We're a low budget podcast. It's Mitch doing it.
It'll get there one day.
Live. It's okay. It's authentic. It's real. Okay, so he has 6. Daniel Goleman has 6.
Yeah. And
this is referencing the From Leadership That Gets Results. Daniel Goleman, Harvard Business Review, March, April 2000. So he has 6, and 2 are highlighted as compliance-based or compliance influencing leadership styles, and it's coercive, pace setting. And those are the transactional type leadership things, where it's like there's a transaction being made, a this for that. You know what I mean? Like it's a two-way kind of transaction.
So that's one. That's one is coercive / pace setting.
Coercive is one. Pace setting is another. So coercive is demanding immediate compliance. do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Like that is the lowest one, I guess, on the totem pole. Do what I say. Now, the problem with that is when that's not always negative, right? When leaders are like, do what I say, they could say something positive, like, hey, this is what we're about, right? This is our culture. This is what this company is about. And if they say that, you're like, cool, I'm on board with that, and since that's what we're about, this is how I'm going to behave. That is coercive. That's coercive, right? Do what I tell you to do, behave in this way. And we're going to behave in this way as a leadership, as an organization. But as soon as the leadership starts to not do what they say they're going to do, that's where, you have that, what I call a culture climate chasm starts to form, where people start to notice, like, hold on a second, I'm doing what you said to do, right? But you're not doing what you said you were going to do. So now you're a hypocrite.
Yep.
And no one can follow that. That absolutely destroys a culture in an organization. And then you create these mini pockets of toxic climates that form within an organization, which then form an entirely different culture or a subculture within an organization that the leadership may not even know exists. And that's when, my friend, people start to what? They either get fired, right? Or they leave. And that's typically, or they change, right? Or they change and adapt to the organization. But if it's a negative thing, that why would you change and adapt to that? That's just you taking punches in the face. Like, that's ridiculous, right? No one should have to work in a toxic environment. So typically we're talking about, toxic environments being formed. People will just leave, right? En masse, even. I have a client actually that that he's shared this on social media before, but he had a business partner that sold him this false bill of goods, right? And it wasn't what he said he was going to do. And so what my client didn't understand at the time, as much as how much of a leadership impact he had on the organization, how much personal power he had, right? While he wasn't the CEO of the company, people followed him. So when he left the company, everyone followed him. They all left with him, right? Now he has a super thriving organization. I mean, it's just crazy, how big he's grown and how much people have flocked to him. I could probably give him a shout out here, right?
Yeah, if he doesn't care.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. If you're not following at Dr. Chitty on Instagram for your plastic surgery aesthetic needs,
yeah.
you probably should. But anyway, he did that. He's an example of that, where personal power wins, leadership wins. And now he has a phenomenal culture in the organization that he's built himself. And, people are very loyal to him, and he's very authentic, and he portrays that in social media. Like, who he is in social media is who he is in person, who he is when he's gone out to dinner with my wife and I, it's awesome.
And I'm willing to bet that when he left, he didn't expect all those people to leave with him.
Oh, no. No, he was Lone Ranger. Like, he's just like, I'm leaving. Because I always remember talking to him. It was years ago. I remember talking to him about it. And he was just like, I just got to make the right decision for my family. And he was thinking more about, taking care of his wife and children and almost like his posterity and, building a foundation for his family. I think that was the last thing on his mind was who's coming with me. Like, he wasn't like Jerry Maguire still in the goldfish. You know what I mean? That it wasn't one of those moments, Yeah. Did I just date myself by referencing Jerry Maguire?
No, man, I know it. I know that.
I know, but you're old.
I'm not old.
We're old.
Don't say that. Don't say that to me. That was just cruel.
Was that cruel?
No.
You're experienced.
I'm serious. Yeah, I'll tell you, I didn't when I made the move to Advantage One, I didn't expect to get the outreach. A massive amount of outreach that is still just coming through. And I wasn't trying to do anything where it was like, who's coming with me? It literally was like, I'm just trying to make the situation better for my team and for the people on my team that want to come in my future teammates, of people that, because I really do. I mean, I love helping families, and I love what we can do in insurance, and just the opportunity that we have, in the industry as a whole. I absolutely love it. And I saw the opportunity that they had, and I was like, man, this is amazing. This is kind of what I've been looking for in terms of being able to help the team and help more people in the future just be successful at a higher level. 100% of the five, like you and I would always say.
100% of the five.
100% of the five.
That's coming to fruition.
And man, I got just the largest amount of people reaching out, and it turns out that there's a lot of people, like, you're not alone. A lot of people felt the same way, and I didn't know.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a person to be courageous and kind of blaze the trail, right? Because people are like, oh, I don't know how to do it, and they kind of, if they're in a toxic environment, they kind of become institutionalized and almost numb to it, because they just kind of take it on the chin.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, and they don't realize that, hey, it can. Oh, I feel where they start to fall in love with their captors, right?
Yeah.
But or sympathize with their captors. But yeah, I mean, it's just the grass isn't always greener, mind you, when you do make changes and moves. So don't always, think that it's just different grass.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like, does that grass fit you? Does it fit you better? Or are you a better fit for it?
Yeah.
Right. Because some people, the environment that you left, they may love that environment. They may thrive in that environment. That may be where their comfort zone is in that type of environment. Not so much for you, clearly. You wanted something that, and I think the huge thing too is a difference between, like, these leadership styles. Like, you wanted more of a place that's based off of personal power, and anyone can step up and be a leader at any time, and it's more transformational. That's the big thing. Personal power is transformational, whereas positional power is transactional, right? So transformational means, like, you're always trying to change and improve yourself, your organization, the people around. It's like you're saying, you made the move for your people. You wanted to transform, their current state into a better state, and you couldn't do that in the environment that you were in, and so you left. But there were other people that had that same feeling, like, hey, I want to be able to have promotive. It's a difference between promotive voice and prohibitive voice. Yeah, so people want to, like, promote, like, the future. They're looking into the future with you. They're buying in. They're committed. Like, they want what's best for the organization in the future. So they're trying to look forward and be like, hey, what kind of innovation can we do, right? So the organization that you're in now is all automated, integrated, and it's everything that you and I talked about 2 years ago on remember that business model canvas we built for you?
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we want everything automated, integrated, up and down, left and right. We want ease of access, ease of use for the agents, for the clients, for the carriers, and that takes a lot of ingenuity and innovation and I would say vision to see that to fruition. You're just lucky that you didn't have to do it yourself, and you're in an organization that already has that kind of created for you, which is awesome. Like, that is absolutely awesome. And that's why I think, as you were ticking off, the boxes to me, I remember, like, Mitch, they got this, they got this, they got this. I'm like, yep, we thought of that. Yep, we had that. We just didn't have the
vehicle,
the resources and the vehicle to get us from A to B. We still have the potential and the capacity to do that, because everyone has that, but we just not right now. Right.
So
it would have taken us longer to get there.
A really good way to compare it, in one of my podcasts I did recently, one of my managers, Jeff Von Keenest, he says it's like having all the right ideas and having the right mindset, but you just don't have the right vehicle. So, like, it's like taking a bunch of special forces and giving them spears and clubs to fight a war against people with guns. Like, instead of, like, putting them, into a proper vehicle, an armored vehicle with all the right weapons. So
got to give them the right equipment. You
yeah,
got to
right
give them the
equipment.
right
So
resources.
and that's basically what we did here was we saw that the equipment matched the war we wanted to fight, basically,
Yeah.
and get the backing and get the technological support to create the things and kind of the environment, the culture that we wanted to create.
Well, you already created it.
Yeah, well, we had the culture already
you
within
had
our
you
group.
had a subculture within the larger culture. Like you had that, like where we were like leadership wins today.
Yeah.
Leadership wins, leadership wins, leadership wins. It's not all about production. Production is a transaction. Like you make a sale, you get money.
Yeah.
You make a sale, you get money. That's like, that is transactional. Like that's 100%. But you wanted transformational, where it's like, no, I want to improve their station. I want to improve the processes. I want to improve their quality of life. I want to improve that they weigh it, not just their production. I want to improve them as people, as human beings. I want to make them better humans.
Better mothers, fathers,
all of that.
sisters, brothers.
Yeah. You just happen
husbands,
to use
wives.
the organization of selling life insurance as a vehicle to do that, to inspire, lead, and influence people to that better end, to fulfill their potential.
Yeah.
Right. You could have done it with any vehicle, but this is the vehicle that you've chosen and that you have a passion for.
Yeah.
Right. So when people don't recognize that, I think they're very short-sighted, because transactional type leadership is very short-sighted. It's the transaction is done. Now it's over. Go make a new transaction.
Next, go do another
transaction.
Go do another
It's
transaction.
over. Now
do
go to
another
another
transaction.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
transformational leadership is deep, it's lasting, right? I think it weathers storms a heck of a lot better than transactional, because transactional is like people can just leave. It's like, oh, you're just waiting for the next payday. Oh, I'm just going to leave. I can get paid over there.
Yeah.
You know, if you want transactions, I can do transactions anywhere. But if I want to transform and improve myself, improve my station, improve my quality of life, my perspective on life, just everything, like spiritual, mental, physical, like that's, you know, and you've posted all that, like with your 75 hard, you know, and your how you kind
Andy
of focused.
Frisella.
Andy, there you go. Free advertising for him, like as if he needs it. But no, like you did all that, right? And I remember, you know, you on your spiritual journey, like
this is actually,
I'm on that with you. And
this is a good segue.
Journey.
This is a good segue because you know, I had told many people multiple times on all the conversations I had after that massive month where I did 190,000 that I could not have done it if I just focused on work. I didn't just focus on work. I focused on every day. I got to feed every part of me like a vehicle. You know, if I would have just put gas in and revved the engine and just gone, how long can I go before that engine explodes if I'm just putting gas in? Not very far, not as far or as efficiently as if I'm making sure that the airs are tired, that they're rotated, that I have the brakes are serviced, that they're good, that I'm make sure that the oil's being changed, that the spark plugs are being changed when they need to be, that the car is getting serviced at the right proper times. And it's all these other things. And that's, you know, that's comparable to your life. It's comparable to, like, if you just focus on work and professional, you're going to burn out. It's going to happen. Some people have more longevity for it than others, but then you're going to look back and be like, dude, I got nothing to show. You can have all the money in the world, but you have nothing to show for it and no one to be there with. No personal relationships, no spiritual relationships. And so I sat back with you and said, I want to make sure that I'm not giving up anything else. So I'm still going to work on my physical, my mental. I worked out twice a day. I read professionally every day. My spiritual, I read the Bible every day. My social, I talked to somebody and had a social, like, relationship conversation every single day. My professional, I worked, and I tried to split it up as much as I could, and still, so I could be very well-rounded. And leadership is that's leadership. That's the transformational leadership that you're talking about. That is making sure it's helping people to see that, because it's not simple. It's not easy. No, this is not something that you can just be like, oh, do this and you'll be good. Oh, just go sell and you'll be good. It doesn't happen that way. It's got to be something that's intentional, that takes time, that you develop over time. And you can develop, there are small things that you can do in your life day after day that you can help to create that change and get through that transformation. But it's not something that you can just check a box and expect it to be done. I mean, think about it like in terms of working out. For those of you watching, who here has, you know, got a new gym membership in January? And by the end of the month in February, you're no longer going because you haven't seen the change that you wanted. Happens all the time because you're expecting I'm gonna do it. And it's that consistency every single day doing the same things, building up that discipline. And as a discipline builds, every area of your life starts to change. And you start to become somebody that attracts positivity and goodness, and people will see it. And that's that transformational change that we're talking about, that people will notice and start to attract into your life.
Yeah, especially when you're leading yourself, right? So you're talking about leading yourself. And there's a good book I'm looking up on my bookshelf. I can't see that far who wrote it. It's called Lead Yourself First. Great book. It's written by a Army veteran. Great book. Lead Yourself First. And that's kind of what it kind of talks about, like gaining that clarity in your life, like about like where you want to go, what direction you want to take, that you want to be this well-rounded, dynamic, human, where you're not just a one-trick pony, where especially when it comes to like all that stuff will manifest in your leadership styles. If that's all you focus on is production or a transactional stuff, and that's the only tool you have in your toolbox, and we've said this before, like it's the only tool you have and it's a hammer, well then every single problem you have in life is going to look like a nail.
Yeah.
And you're going to pound the crap out of that thing, and then you're going to realize like, oh wait, that's a screw, but it's going to be too late. You've already
stripped the wall.
You've already screwed it all up. You've broken your hammer, like you're broken, and you're tired. You're just broke. And all you needed was a different tool in your toolbox, and it would have been easy. And someone like that guy on TikTok that always goes up and is like, screwdriver, not a hammer, right? That would have worked, right? It's just the obvious, but it to someone who doesn't have that skill set, who doesn't have that mindset, like they don't see it, the forest for the trees. They're just like, no, everything's a nail. Just hammer the crap out of it.
It ain't that deep. Just buy more leads.
It's absolutely that deep.
It is that deep.
Life is deep.
It is.
Everything is deep. And if it's not deep, then I'll tell you, then you're shallow as a human being. And you are shallow, and so is your organization. If your organization isn't deep, then it's shallow. And what would you rather have? A deep organization that's full of fulfillment and meaning and lasting relationships? Or do you want a shallow organization because you're a shallow human being and you just have shallow relationships, a shallow culture where, the sun comes out and it's too bright one day and it dries your little puddle up, and there's what's to show for it? Nothing, because everyone's left because it sucks, right? So it's just crazy. It's crazy to me. And I don't know. I don't know how you affect it. How you affect those kinds of organizations is you either have a grassroots campaign to change people at the top, or the top people, have a little dose of what I call humility and are like compelled, and they compel themselves.
I'm gonna pause it real quick because I'm getting a call I gotta take.
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Make fun of you, by the way.
What is up, everybody? We are back from our 20-minute hiatus.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Sorry for that pause.
I don't even know if that was a pause. I almost took it. That's almost enough time to take a nap.
It was only 20 minutes.
Look at me. My feet are kicked up in my chair. Like I'm chilling right now.
Okay. So where did we leave off? We're talking about
we were talking about coercive leadership and how it sucks, and not all the time.
And how it creates a shallow puddle and the puddle's drying.
Yeah, I use some weird
sun's out, baby. Sun's out, guns out. Sun's out, guns.
I'm not doing that because I'm small and weak, but yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So we can move on. We were going to talk about other leadership styles. There's pace setting, right? Mm-hmm. Pace setting is again, this is Daniel Goleman. He came up with these 6 leadership styles. He may have updated them since the year 2000, but this is kind of where it's just easy to remember these 6. So pace setting, and that's just what it is. It's like almost like a jockey on a horse saying, "Keep up with me, stay up here with me, keep up." And that's not as bad as coerciveness as far as, like what it does to a climate, but you can't do that with new people. You can't do that with people who are just brand new and trying to learn systems and processes. So like in sales, if I was related to sales, you can't just be like, "Hey, why aren't you selling 20K a week, you sack of garbage? Keep up with me. I'm doing it."
Yeah.
If I'm doing
anybody can do it.
anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. Yeah. It's like, well, how long have you been there? I've been here for 2 years. Okay. All right, cool. How much money do you have? What are your resources? What are your this? What are your that? Like not everyone, has the same starting point.
So what I think about that, I think about the statement that they would always say, like, meet people where they're at, and when they'd be like, hey, keep up with us, I'll meet you where you're at. Like, no, there's a crawl, walk, run. Like, you gotta crawl with them to teach them how to walk, and then when you gotta walk with them to teach them how to run, and then when they're ready to run, that's meeting people where they're at. And pace setting is the opposite. Pace setting is like,
keep up with me.
Keep up with me.
And the thing is keep up with me, or I'm going to just leave you behind.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get left behind because you can't keep up with the group. And so the higher performers are like, and they charge forward and are able to keep up, and that's why that sometimes works for some people. Right. But that's for extremely high performance organizations where everybody's highly trained, everyone's highly proficient, everyone's highly efficient in what they do. You can do pace setting, right? Because you just need people to keep up with you.
Yeah.
But even then, like, how long can they sustain that?
But all those people started somewhere in those organizations, and they didn't start off. They didn't get into the organization from the beginning. They were just like high performing. They had to build the technical expertise and the
somewhere
and the resilience at some point in time to get to that level.
Exactly. So either they did it through experiential learning, or they just were raised that way. So like in sales, they either were just very empathetic and could relate to people and had good communication skills. They didn't have a sales job before and they just picked it up quickly. Whereas other people, they got to learn that skill. They may not have learned that, innately through life, through their experiences or previous jobs. And so you got to teach those people that. You can't just be like, oh no, screw you. Can't keep up. Bye. Right. And that's why turnover rate, I think in the insurance industry is so high, because people they don't truly understand what meet people where they're at means. Not only do they not know what it means, they can't do it because they suck at leadership, because they're pace setters and coercive. Yeah. So it's just like, do what I do what I said, or keep up. Why can't you keep up? What are you, stupid? And then they just leave them behind. And then the person's like, what the crap? And then they're not committed to the organization. They're not committed to a vision, to a cause, to anything. They're just like,
they're committed to bettering their own situation, their own life.
They do
their own pockets.
And then they about face and forward march, right? And say, deuces, I'm out. So that's huge. And so that's why those two, coerciveness and pace setting, they're effective in very niche, very high performance teams. And I think only for a short period of time, when you need compliance and it speed is of the essence, like where you have to hit a timeline, you have to hit a certain gate, and everyone's kind of rowing in the same direction, but you still sometimes you got to rest.
Yeah.
You got to take a break, right? You got to refit, you got to recharge. So
you said there were 6. You said there were 6 for this.
Yeah.
Let's do one more, and we're going to do a part 2, because I think we're already like 40 minutes in.
Are we?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I know, right? That's even with the 20-minute break where I paused it.
Well, I love this crap. I could ramble on.
I know. We can talk about this all day long. So what's the third one?
Which one do we want to choose? Hold on. I gotta pull this up.
Start from the bottom and go up.
Well, these ones, I don't know if there's like a bottom and top one, quite honestly. So there's 4 of them. I'll just say there's 4 of them. There's coaching, democratic, affiliative, and authoritative. Right?
So
authoritative sounds bad, but it's not. Authoritative is like where you mobilize people. Well, it's the opposite of what we're talking about. It's where you mobilize people, you inspire people towards a common vision, right? It's not a keep up with me. It's a come with me.
Yeah, it's a let's go. Follow me.
I'm going to walk beside you. I'll walk sometimes behind you. I'll push you. I'll pull you. I'll whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'll leave you alone and let you figure it out on your own, because that's what you need. I'll give you your space. I'll come back and help you, right? It's whatever you really need, but we're all marching towards this common vision.
Yeah.
Right. And that takes a special kind of person to have that authoritative that style, because you have to have an incredible amount of personal power, an incredible amount of trust, where people are like, all right, I'll drop everything and, you know, follow me, come with me. I mean, like, not to be all spiritual or religious, but like, Jesus was one of those, come follow me, right? Drop your nets, come follow me, and they had complete trust in him and they went. So it's very, that leadership style is very old. Like, it's not new. None of this stuff is new. This is as old as people. As long as a human being and another human being were walking the earth, these things have existed. And so it's just how we apply them to different environments. And so we apply these to your environment of leading in an insurance sales organization, right? Or a marketing organization, or whatever organization. For me, a business consulting organization. I'm an organization of one on one hand, and then I have a business partner for another. So, it can be applied. It can be applied everywhere. It's what I actually do, right? So I do the leadership and organizational management consulting. That's what I do. So I have to not only do I have to know these things, I have to be able to do these things
and apply them
and demonstrate them and teach people how to do them at the same time. So it's like, not only do I have to know this leadership stuff, I gotta be able to teach leadership, which is a craft in and of itself. So, and the military, quite honestly, if you pay attention and you are a steward of your profession, teaches you how to do that, right?
Yeah.
But authoritative is huge, and I think that's a big one. Is the authoritative leader is the one that's the visionary. It's the one who's the chief culture officer of an organization, right? That kind of is that steady, constant. Hey, this is the drumbeat, right? This is the drumbeat. This is everyone getting cadence with this beat, right? It's not a do as I do. It's a, hey, everyone march to this beat, and you want to march to this beat because this is the safe place to be, right? Now it can be more dynamic than that. It's not just you're a one-trick pony, but that's kind of the constant message. And typically organizations, how they do that, and we did this for years in your previous organization, is we built you out a cultural foundational document.
Yeah.
That
we all
had your behaviors and statements, right? Like, this is how we behave, right? This is how we behave. But I don't think your larger organization had one, right? No. And so they didn't have one that said, hey, this is how we behave with each other. This is how we're going to interact with each other, right? This is how we're going to interact with clients. This is how we're going to interact with carriers. This is how we're going to interact with just
agents to our left, agents to our right, agency owners.
Yeah, up, down, right,
everybody.
So when you don't have stuff like that, you create these pockets like where, if you don't tell people how to interact with each other, then you could have agents bad mouthing other agents outside of your organization, inside your organization. And then what does that create? It creates animosity, distrust. It creates all these pockets of just negativity, right?
Yeah.
And it's very toxic, and it's
very toxic,
poisonous. Yeah. And it's just negative,
and
right?
It's poisonous. It's so poisonous within that organization, but sometimes the people outside of the pockets don't see it or realize it until that poison starts to literally, like, infect from the inside out.
Yeah. Well, the huge thing is with that is it can be solved. It's simply solved. If you have a foundational document that everyone is trained on, so it's culture. Culture is traditions, norms, values. It's shared, but they're shared norms, values. Language too is huge, right? With language you use. Yeah. So it's like, you could have a cultural statement, a foundational statement that says, agents shall not talk bad about other agents. Or you put it on the positive side and say, agents will always build up, support, and strengthen other agents, right?
Yeah.
They'll always speak positively about other agents. If we're talking about another agent, it's always in a positive way. And we don't like to talk about people, we talk about ideas. Now, if you had cultural statement that your company adopted, is like, this is how we're going to behave with each other. That anxiety and fear that everyone has, like, oh man, everyone's spiting me in the back, they're stabbing me in the back. That fear subsides, and what you have is now psychological safety in an organization, right? And people are like, okay, I know how to behave because I know how they're supposed to behave, right? But again, if people aren't doing what that document says, then even if you don't have a document, whatever the leader says, and if people aren't doing that, then you have that, again, that chasm starts forming, and what fills the gap is fear. It's anxiety, it's doubt, it's mistrust. And that fear, mistrust, and anxiety and doubt then be like, people are like, it's easy for them to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easy when they see a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
Stand up and say, this isn't right. I'm out.
Right. I'm out.
Guess what?
I'm out.
There's people that have been in fear, doubt, hope, or fear and doubt and mistrust. They have something to follow. Someone to
say, come follow me.
Yeah.
So, come with me. Come with me. Right. And you I would say you were a really good example of that. The next one, I mean, I know you wanted to do a part 2 of this, but like affiliative, right? Affiliative is one where it creates harmony and builds emotional bonds with people. Like you're affiliate, like you're not being everyone's best friend. It's not befriending people, but you're building those, like I was talking about before, those deep, meaningful, lasting relationships that are transformational, right? Because you change and grow together. You don't change and grow apart. You change and grow together, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where like the Daniel Goleman uses the phrase like people come first. And you said that at the beginning, right? I wanted to take care of my people first. Like that was the first thing in your mind. Like, I don't want to take care of myself. I want to take care of my people. Just like my buddy, Dr. Chitty. He's like, I want to take care of my people, which was his family, right? He's like, I want to take care of my people first. And so he used that type of leadership. And that's really what happened. People followed. So yeah, I mean, we can probably knock out these other 2. It might be fast. It could be fast because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we got like 10 minutes till it hits the hour. I think it's a good place to stop, a good place to pause. We can build on this a little bit more. We can go a little more depth, create a part 2, part D, if you will.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Are we going to have somebody on next week with us, or is this going to be 2 of us?
We might. If anyone's watching this, you know what? Let's do this. I've probably gonna have more people watching this than ever before, because the viewers have grown. So if you watch it to this point and you say, you know what, I really like leadership. I've read a lot of leadership books, or I've had leadership experience, and I'd like to come on board and talk about different types of leadership or culture and climate and all these types of things, then reach out. Send me a message. Most of you that are watching this have a way to send me a message. No, we'll bring you on. Have a nice.
Well, talk. What's your handle, Greg? So people who
so if you want to reach me on Instagram, it's Greg Birch 84. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's just Greg Birch. And if you want to text me, most of you know my number, but just in case, you can text me at my personal cell. It's 931-249-7363. You use any of those means to get a hold of me. And
that's commitment right there. Giving your personal number.
Yeah, man. I'm here to help.
I would give them my personal number. They would incur international charges. I'm not about that.
Unless they have an iPhone, it'll just iMessage you.
That's true. But if people, I'm down. If people want to get a hold of me at Fifth Dimension Potential on IG, Instagram. So come hit me up on there.
It's fifth,
follow me.
The number 5.
Fifth. Yeah, 5 TH.
Not spelled out FIF. Fifth.
No.
It's not fifth.
No, number 5 TH.
So
_dimension_potential.
Well, Mitch, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on board and doing this. We're going to get back on the schedule of doing this once a week, like we were. Yeah. And we're also going to get a better setting. We're going to get somebody that's in the background that's like pulling that stuff up for us.
Eventually,
right? One day.
Maybe we won't. Maybe we just keep it like this.
Keep it real and raw.
Keep it real and raw.
Yeah, I like it.
It doesn't need to be a professional production. The words are the same.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You like the video, share it to your friends, anyone that you think might be interested. We do this for you guys, for all of you, for everyone that's listening. We don't do it to get paid. We do it just to help. So if you like the message, if it made an impact, if you like the leadership message that we're doing, then yeah, just go ahead and share it with somebody and share the message and let them hear it. So Mitch, again, thank you.